Funny thing I forgot to tell you is that one thing that you and Best Coast have in common is your deep, deep love for Seinfeld. A couple weeks ago, a rapper dropped an album named Wale dropped an album called The Album About Nothing.
Oh.
That like has Seinfeld clips in it and like features Jerry Seinfeld speaking on a number of songs. Wow. And I just realized I probably should have done that instead. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Spin It Reviews, and today, this is a little Mother's Day special I decided to do with my mom here, Linda. Yeah, and today we're gonna be doing a little track-by-track analysis of the new Best Coast album called California Nights, and we'll just kind of get your thoughts on it, go a little back and forth, and yeah, let's get started with the first track on this thing.
Okay, I liked it. What was it called? Feeling Good?
Feeling Okay.
Feeling Okay. Okay, so I liked it, and it was giving me Go-Go's, very Go-Go's. I'm feeling Belinda Carlisle. I'm feeling Go-Go's meets Beach Boys.
Funny thing, people actually, you're going to hear it a lot more in, especially in the back half of this album, but people, from the beginning of this band's career, compared them to, the girl groups of the 60s, if Phil Spector formed an indie rock band, basically.
Okay. Yeah. I'm feeling more 80s because that's my day.
Right.
More my late 80s.
Well, you said the Beach Boys thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just keep going.
I liked it a lot. I love an angry white girl song, so I'm assuming these are white girls.
White Girl's the singer and rhythm guitarist, so
okay,
and songwriter.
Okay, so
yeah, it's a girl and a guy.
Okay.
The guy does the instruments. Oh,
so it's one girl.
So the girl is Bethany is doing the vocals, the rhythm guitar, and the songwriting and lyrics and stuff, and the guy Bob is doing the instruments.
So
it's like the rest of the instruments.
Is it just two people in the band?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, there are a couple session people, but
okay,
it's generally a duo.
Okay, I'm impressed because it sounded bigger. I was.
Well, I mean, there's always overdubs.
I was feeling 4 and 5 people, so I'm impressed. Yeah. It's just the two of them. So I love me an angry white girl song, and they're giving me a little bit of You Ought to Know, but not quite that angry. Okay, so I want a little more anger. Do we have any more angry songs? Or
It crops up.
Do they get angrier?
Yeah,
okay.
it crops up at a couple points. Personally, my thoughts on this is that this is a recurring thing for me is that I love this album musically, but the lyrics can get kind of frustrating for me. For this song, there's this weird contradiction where in the verses, it's this motivational thing about not worrying what people think.
Right.
But then she turns back in the chorus and talks about how sad she is without this guy, and it's there's a difference between contrast and just kind of contradicting yourself.
Yeah.
And it's I have always been a fan of this band, but that's always been the lyrics have always been kind of a nagging thing for me.
I liked the beginning. I might have misunderstood the words, but I thought it sounded like she was talking to another girl.
Yeah.
Counseling her.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But was she actually talking to herself, counseling herself?
Possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it would go would make it even weirder in a way. It'll go completely opposite way in the chorus. Maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I like the law of attraction pseudo reference because I'm into that. My people were into that,
right.
And I liked where she said, "Let it go. You don't control it. You don't control the outcome.
It's out of your hands.
It's out of your hands." Thank you. So I like that whole thing of being unattached to outcomes. So like that. Very cool.
Okay.
So I liked this song. I thought it was a really good driving song, and I liked the heavy bass. I like a deep, hard, heavy bass sound, and I like that about this song.
Yeah, I feel the thing about this is that it's probably the most hard not hard rock, but the hardest rock thing they put out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because on that first album they drew a couple pop punk comparisons, and on this one it's really bringing that back in a big way. With the more crunchy guitar sound. Yeah. Just they've had this tumultuous history of the first album kind of used reverb as a crutch for underdeveloped songwriting, but then the second album had no reverb and the bare songwriting was showing through. And here I feel they have a lot more of a balance to it. So for the duration of this, I think I'm gonna hold my own little snacks here. That's the name of Betty's cat.
Aww.
So what are your thoughts on So Unaware?
I like the way at the end when she said, "I'll never understand you, never understand you." That just appealed to me.
Yeah.
I don't recall hearing that that sentiment in a song before, so I thought it was original. I liked it.
So we're kind of closing on like halfway across the album yet. Or is there like any like recurring elements like musically or lyrically or like any criticisms or like just anything general stuff that you found over like the tracks you've heard so far?
I liked it, but not being a musician, you would notice things like
Right,
that more
right,
than I
right.
would. I'm going to throw that back to you. What do you
Right,
think?
right. It's like even though like there is a lot of like sincerity to it, which I can appreciate, it's like it comes off a little whiny at times. Yeah. Like it's constantly like kind of throwing out the same kind of tropes, I guess, of like breakup songs, quote unquote. And it can get a little insufferable after a while. It's just that these songs are so insanely catchy that I can overlook it a good majority of
And
the time.
what comes to mind for me is, would I want to be the object of these songs? Would you want to be the dude about whom she's writing? She's complaining about me again.
I assume for any breakup song you wouldn't want to be.
But I think this one isn't a breakup song. This one is in it. Right?
Right,
I never
right,
understand you, and I'm so unaware.
Right,
you're so
right.
unaware,
But for some of these songs, you know.
Yeah, but this is more a complaining within the relationship song, right?
And
oh, look, his tail's in his eye. Oh.
It's in his eye.
Oh, that was a song.
Yeah.
You're in my eyes, which
You didn't get that.
I didn't. The title didn't really appeal to me, but
it's a little clunky in how it's worded.
It's a little bit awkward, and I felt like I had an irritant. You're in my eyes like an irritant, but maybe he's an irritant.
Just get like an ointment for that.
Maybe it was a metaphor for you are irritating. You are an irritant.
Let's move on.
Okay, Mark. What was the name of that song?
When Will I Change? I'm surprised you didn't know that. She said it 50,000 times in that song. But
I want to know what is the nature of the relationship between the Best Coast people?
They're friends. Although I'm sure that there are quite a few rumors swirling around earlier on in their career.
Oh, okay. So they're not like that.
Yeah. Although
brother and sister team.
Although the true irony is that like their first big single. It was one of their first big singles was called Boyfriend, and it was basically all about being friend-zoned by a guy. So, I'm pretty sure that didn't help for the press.
They're not like that brother and sister team, the White Stripes.
No.
Okay.
No. Something that I gotta say is that like I got really like a Cure vibe from this song from from like that jangly like
They're
lead part
or
was it a keyboard, like some combination of those, like
they were.
I really like that.
And I liked the song because it was harder. It gave me a little more harder sound. I like a hard sound.
Yeah, kind of like Heaven Sent, you know, like that kind of and yeah.
For this song Jealousy, I have some friendly critique.
Go ahead.
As I'm listening,
rip into it.
She keeps saying, "What's with the jealousy? What's with the jealousy?" And what comes to me is, rather than repeating the same phrase over and over, it would make the song more interesting to me if we could have different phrases in there. Like I felt like it was an opportunity, because musically I really like it and it's really catchy, but I want more. Lyrically, I want more. I want more complexity. I want something even stimulating and spontaneous and controversial. I want more lyrically.
You know, that's something that has kind of been a recurring thing. Like I said, kind of a recurring thing for me in Best Coast is that like it's like she's not a terrible lyricist, but she's a very simplistic one, like a very limited one,
right? And it's real safe, and I just want more.
It can all bleed together, and like just like with When Will I Change, like that repeating of the title. Although you know, something I forgot to say about When Will I Change is that like I will give her credit on that song lyrically, that it was kind of like a moment of self-awareness where she's like I should change from this, but for some reason I can't, and I do have to give like a little bit of respect for that. But you said you had a few other you said that it's kind of safe so far.
Yeah, it feels, all their music to me feels very safe. I feel like it's kind of in the middle lane, and I want them to take risks. I want them to go big and bold, and it's just it's all kind of right here in the middle, and I want I just want more risk. I want him to push the limits, or
they
go
do
big,
yeah.
go small.
They do go big on this next song. Yes.
Okay, promise.
Yeah, I promise.
Okay, and the other thing was with the lyric, the jealousy. Why don't you like me? I'm trying to. What does one have to do with another?
Yeah.
Why don't you like me?
That's something that I can't figure out.
What does why don't you like me have to do with jealousy?
Yeah, because
if you're jealous, that means you really like me, and you like me so much that you're jealous. So if you didn't like me, you wouldn't be jealous. I made my second Alanis Morissette comparison.
Right.
You know, because I said, well, what does one have to do with the other? And I said, it's like that Alanis Morissette song, Ironic.
Yeah.
She gives all these examples of things that are truly not ironic, but she cites them as ironic.
So, fun fact, this is the first song they released from this album. How do you think people felt?
Good.
Yeah, because it's very psychedelic compared
is.
to their past stuff.
It's interesting the way you describe that, because the song is slower.
Yeah.
And it was almost had a slow motion feel to it. Why do you think groups do that? Why do they release the song that's so different from the other ones?
You know, I feel like it's kind of just get people talking. If they released "Feeling Okay" as the first single, people would have been like, okay, it's just another Best Coast album, because their hype was kind of fading when they released that last EP. So I feel like they needed to make a big first impression with this album, and they definitely did that with that song. And so you were saying something about the lyrics on this song?
Yeah, well, California nights make me so happy I could die.
But I stay alive.
That was a recovery. Yeah, that was a good recovery.
Yeah,
but musically, I really liked it. I really appreciated this song.
Yeah.
I liked the depth, and it had like a less is more. Like they kind of stretched out the musicality instead of doing the similar speed to the other songs.
I feel like the skeletal lyrics actually kind of worked in the band's favor.
Yes, because the instruments became the star of the song. Genius lyrics like pull the string on my sweater.
If you want to destroy my sweat. Yeah. You know, funny thing, I think I told you this when I first was asking you which album you want to listen to. Best Coast were actually featured on a song off Weezer's last album.
Yeah, and you know, I love me some Weezer.
Yeah, I got her into that like throughout my entire high school career when I was playing CDs in the car.
My favorite new group is Weezer. And
like really anything after 1989 to you is new.
Dude, Green Day's new. Green Day is one of my favorite new bands.
Those kids and their Vanilla Ice and their...
Anything post 80s is new to me. So my favorite new groups are Green Day and Weezer.
Sounds good.
Right, yeah.
You could choose worse.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is coming from
those Creed guys are going places. Yeah. I'm telling you what.
For sure. But I appreciate it. I appreciate and respect anybody who takes a chance and does their thing, because anybody could sit back and criticize. But to do the thing, you know what I mean. But nobody could sit back and criticize like Mark Berman, okay? But to actually do the thing, to put yourself out there and take a risk, that is golden. So we're just having fun with this.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Moving on.
When I heard the first few notes, I immediately went to Bad Company, and I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love.
Yeah, the riffs are similar.
It sounded exactly like that, just for the first line or so. But they were giving me Bad Company.
Yeah,
and I
Marvin Gaye's family's going to come after Best Coast now.
Yeah, we've got some blurred lines going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh! I'm wondering, I don't hear the gentleman singing. Does he not sing?
I think he might have done backing vocals on like a couple songs, but I don't think he does any vocals on this album unless they're like really buried in the mix. I mean, I have the CDs at my house, but I should have brought it because that has the liner notes and stuff.
I want to hear from him.
Okay. How do you know he's a good singer?
I don't. But anybody who's this talented, who can do the instruments,
lead guitar, bass,
there's got to be
drums.
Something there. But it just I like the pairing of the male and female voice at least sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate that it had a different kind of idea to it, but it kind of sounded similar to the
Yeah.
other one. So I don't have much to say. Although in closing,
Well, there's one more song.
I would. Oh, okay. In almost closing, I would.
Well, there's gonna be an overview thing, but in this song specifically, the thing is that Bethany said in interviews that there will be a couple songs that aren't about relationships on the album, and like this is one of them, but it's like so monotonous.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Insomnia, and that's it.
Right.
Like, it doesn't really go anywhere. You know,
Insomnia.
That image has made for some great songs, but it's just like I can't sleep.
Right.
Good for you.
Melatonin?
I mean, I will say like California Nights is probably like the other song on here that's not really about relationships.
Cup of hot water.
Yeah. California Nights. Anyway, California Nights, the title track, is probably like the other song here. It's not really about relationships, and that one actually works really well. It's like I kind of like the happier songs on the album. Honestly, I feel like this album kind of fails when she's complaining about stuff.
Is that kind of like a dude's nightmare to hear a complaining girl? Again, it's like she stays in the middle lane of this mild annoyance, mild complaining, mild irritation, whereas I'm just like, then just break up. Like, it's just not good. If it's not good, it's not good.
And she's been doing this for 3.5 albums, if you count the EP.
But like this poor bastard is pounded over the head over and over for 12 songs.
And you know what you're saying?
With this mild annoyance.
And what were you saying? Like, this is anger for suburban people who don't know how to be angry, or something like that.
I said she's probably too suburban to know true anger. But again, I don't mean to criticize. There
will be so many offended
really
people in the comments. I was born with this disorder, and you know what we mean.
Well, and I could call it out because I am a suburban white girl, so I can call it out. So
yeah, you can relate.
I can totally relate. I want to issue a challenge to this group
Best
next
Coast.
time. Best Coast.
Bethany specifically.
Bethany, love you, girl. Next time you write some lyrics, I issue you a challenge to not repeat a phrase because I'm hearing a lot of repetition and
it's good in moderation.
No.
Okay.
No, not for me. I feel like each song is an opportunity to really expand and offer depth and elaboration, and I feel like it's a little bit of filling up space, and I feel like it's a habit because having heard the whole album now, I noticed the trend of repeating phrases, and I think it's kind of a habit.
It's not really a good sign that it made me realize a pet peeve of music that I didn't even know I had.
What's that, Mark?
Closing songs on albums that sound like they were specifically written to be closers on albums. Like the underdeveloped, like bare, like minimal instrumentation that's like super soft and stuff when the rest of the album was anything but. It comes off to me like it wasn't written to be a significant song on the album, just kind of as something to close it. But we were saying about repetition, like I feel like it can work if like trying to set a mood, or if it's like for the end of a song when it's like after the last chorus, then it's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, in general, like there are like we were saying earlier, there are these tropes on the album of like love songs or breakup songs or like just mental instability songs. If you did take out those repeated lines, then yeah, you could flesh things out a little more.
Is it maybe because you guys are young and you just don't have a lot on which to comment yet? You haven't lived a lot?
Well, by that same argument, you could say that about every generation of musicians on their first couple albums ever. And besides, by the way, I think I kind of briefly mentioned this earlier, these guys are in their late 20s.
Okay.
So that excuse doesn't fly. Like we kind of said at the beginning, like it still is really good, like musically. Like all our complaints really have been in the lyrics,
right?
But musically, I think like with a couple exceptions that are a little less memorable, it is impeccable. Like most of them have like these really catchy hooks. Like it's by far their best album sonically. Like they definitely found like a great balance. Of having like just enough effects, but not so much that it like clouds everything like on their first album. And I think there's like the same ratio of like memorable songs to throwaway tracks. My complaints for this album, like I know this is your first impression of them, my complaints for this album are like less so than on the first couple. It's just like still there to a degree, which I was a little disappointed by, I have to admit, after hearing the title track where it was a little more evolved. Okay, so those are our thoughts on the album. Now, Mom, at the end of my videos, I give a score from 1 to 10. You can go like on a half for one of them. Personally, like, I feel like somewhere between a 7 and 7.5 on this. Where would you say you score on this?
I say 6.5.
Yeah.
6.5.
I feel like based on what you said,
Yeah.
that's the best.
And
like,
that's not a negative.
Oh, I know. It's just mixed.
It's just kind of where I land.
Yeah, it's just mixed thoughts.
Yeah,
It's decent. Because I am like more of a fan of this band, I do have a little bit of a bias. So it was why I go like maybe a 7 or 7.5. I'll probably just like edit on the screen whatever my score is for that. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this special here with this Mother's Day special with Mom about the new West Coast album. If you guys have given this album a listen, what do you think about it? Do you agree with what I had to say? Do you disagree? Have any feedback about the channel in general, or like what I did here? Do you want me to do a Father's Day one with my dad about that freaking Bob Dylan album where he covers Sinatra songs? Let me know. So this actually could happen.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so share this around with anyone who might be interested. Like the Facebook page in the description for updates, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode of Spin It Reviews.